Today I had an itch that needed to be scratched, so I cannonballed into the pool of male astrology just to take a peek at what's been going on in the Sigma scene, as well as the alpha male YouTubers, and of course catching up with the omega male gurus who give some wild and wacky advice, just because it's been so long since I've tuned into the genre on YouTube. Recently I've felt that the Sigma grind set's begun to fizzle out a little bit, and I was hoping to reignite that fire inside of the hearts of all Sigma males that might be watching. So I wanted to share one video with you that I found. It's called 10 Odd Things Sigma Males Do That Turn Women On. Now before starting it, I will say I was a bit disappointed to see that they omitted one of the most important qualities of a Sigma male, and that's how they handle one-night stands. I've seen this from a couple other channels, and I just would like to put this here in the beginning before getting into the 10 things, because I think it's a really important one. So a Sigma male's not afraid to be upfront. We know that. So when it comes to a one-night stand, I think the optimal way Sigma males handle it is they always finish it off respectfully. They don't want to leave things on bad terms. So this is just a little free advice to all the Sigma males out there. When you're done with a one-night stand and you know it's not going to be something that's like a long-term partnership, make sure that you're nice, understanding, but direct about it. So get up, give her a bow, and say, "Thanks, madam, for the good pussy. 'Twas doth sodden in those quarters, but I must be off now. Crime never sleeps. Pray thee good day," and then collect your monocle and tobacco pipe and skedaddle. It leaves things on good terms, and you now have broken things off in a much more palatable way.
Women are turned on by different things than men. The Sigma male is the type of guy who knows what these differences are and how to exploit them.
It's fascinating to me how 100% of the time these YouTubers always present their ideas in the creepiest manner possible, calling it an exploit here, making it sound like it's some kind of cheat code or a forbidden jutsu you'll get in trouble for using. It just comes across really weird, saying things like, the Sigma male knows these differences and knows how to exploit it. It just makes it sound almost criminal. The Sigma male is very familiar with females and the law. So you want to get laid without going to prison for sexual assault? Well, there's a fine line between sexual assault and getting laid, and the Sigma male tap dances on it. Find out how in this video.
The Sigma male is the type of man women are naturally attracted to. He has an innate understanding of how to appeal to female biology, knowing which buttons to push and when.
Another thing I always find interesting, and this is across like all alpha male and sigma male YouTubers, is I can never tell if it's text-to-speech voices they use or if it's actually them narrating, because their cadence is so robotic, and I'm just never positive. Like for this one in particular, I feel like it's text-to-speech, but then there's certain moments where it kind of messes up and bumbles a word around, and then I'm like, no, it's probably a person.
1. Their light touches. When a Sigma male is sitting next to a woman, he'll reach out and gently rest his hand on top of hers. Or he might come up behind her and lay his hands on her hips or shoulders, just for a couple of seconds before pulling away again. A woman loves it when he takes the initiative like this, without always waiting to be invited.
Yeah, so step one here is immediately playing with fire, because if you do this on a total stranger, you might just go straight to jail. Do not pass go and collect $200. This shit's just getting you right in the slammer. It feels like something that is only acceptable if it's done with a girl that you're already romantically involved with, or are at least familiar with enough to the point where coming up behind them and putting your hands on her hips doesn't immediately get you slapped and spit on. If this is a stranger, you might just get your ass beat, and you might get the cops called on you. So I'm assuming this advice here, where don't wait to be invited, is when it's like your partner. Like, hey, maybe rest your hand on her hand when you guys are out on a date, as opposed to just like, hey, if you're in class next to a girl, just rest your hand on her hand as a Sigma move. I'll give the benefit of the doubt to the creator here, because they don't actually specify if it's like, this is an icebreaker type thing that you use on women that you're interested in, or something that you do to continue to keep a woman that you're already with interested in you.
2. They know how to command attention. A Sigma man doesn't care if anyone notices him or not, as long as he has the upper hand in any given social situation. When he enters a room, she can't help but notice him because of the way other people react when he's around.
Now, as is the case with every Alpha, Sigma, Omega, Giga, Chad, Advice YouTube channel, most of it's just platitudes, utterly meaningless, and can be applied to pretty much everyone and everything ever. And this is one of those things. If you're good at getting people's attention and not being weird, it's a good thing for you. And women like that. It's like, yeah, that sounds about right.
3. Their specific sense of humor. Everyone has a different sense of what's funny, and Sigma males seem to possess a unique kind of humor that nobody else can get.
To be fair, you do have to have a high IQ to understand Sigma male humor, so this is again another one of those points where it's like, yep, that sounds about right. Sigma males are known for their gut-busting comedy, and women do appreciate a good ha-ha-ha moment, some good goofs and laughs.
4. They exude an air of mystery. There's something about the way they carry themselves that makes women want to find out what it is. This makes her feel like she doesn't have all the information, which is psychologically arousing.
This is always my favorite advice, because this is what I bought into going into college, that women love a mystery, which is why I took on the role of an anime protagonist who's very mysterious. You know what it got me? Not laid. It almost got me just fucking excommunicated from my goddamn university because everyone was so fucking afraid of me because I was such a weirdo. Sure, there's something to be said about someone that's not like overly outgoing with everything that's happened in their life. Yeah, absolutely. Keeping some things to yourself, being a little more reserved is probably pretty helpful. But the way that they set it up here where it's like a mystery is great. It's psychologically arousing to not have all the information. I will just debunk that immediately. You should give some information. For sure. Don't just go like catatonic and smoke a cigarette in the background hoping that someone finds that cool or hot. Because they probably won't. They just find it creepy.
They come off as really intense. When he talks to her, it seems like he's judging every little thing she says, and that can be really intimidating. Sigma males don't think twice about challenging a woman, which can be a huge turn-on for some women.
This one straight up just doesn't seem like a good thing at all. To have women find you scary and intimidating and too intense. That just seems like it's a massive detriment to getting laid as a Sigma male. And then the part about a Sigma male not being afraid to challenge a woman, that almost just sounds almost threatening. Like, hey, at any moment you say something that's a little out of line, the Sigma male is going to call you out on it. It's like, ugh, you winch, you've gone a bit too far, and you misquoted the great George Lucas. He never said that about Star Wars, and I'm putting you in your place. And you should be turned on by this. It's like, I don't know if that's necessarily a great quality to be so willing to challenge everything and come off as really intense.
They are unpredictable. A woman loves to be surprised. If she can see something coming from a mile away, there's no excitement left in it for her. He keeps himself just a little bit apart from society, and that makes it impossible for her to guess what he will do next.
I don't really see what being an outcast from society has to do with being unpredictable. Unless he's isolated from society in like a mental asylum or something. Like, I don't really understand how those two correlate. You can be unpredictable while also participating in society, right? You can come up with surprises like, hey, surprise, I found chocolates in the dumpster outside. I bet you didn't see this coming. Or, come in with a birthday cake. Hey, I know it's not your birthday, but hey, I definitely subverted your expectations with this maneuver, didn't I? You don't have to be like, outside of the outskirts of society to be unpredictable. And yeah, there is something to be said about surprises and being spontaneous. That could be a good thing for sure. Not just for Sigma males, but for people in general.
They have a really strong presence. Some men are just more dominating, and women respect him because of this. They're active listening. A few women are really turned on by men who just tune out during a conversation, but most of them can't stand it. They want to be heard, and they love it when he shows an interest in everything she has to say.
Again, most of this video is just platitudes that everyone's heard a million times before. It's not specific to Sigma males. It's just everything here is Sigma male slapped on top of the most generic advice ever from WikiHow and peddled out there as Sigma advice, or these are weird, wacky things Sigmas do that no one else does, when this is just like the most basic shit ever. Oh, be a good listener. Oh, have your own identity with a strong presence and not try and stand out from the crowd with being like overly, showy or whatever. Like, it's all just general advice that everyone's always heard forever. But ever since this whole Sigma versus Alpha versus Beta versus Omega war started, all of this most basic shit gets labeled as Sigma and Alpha and all of that. Like, I guarantee I could find this exact video with the word Alpha on top of it, and it'd be indistinguishable.
Their self-sufficiency. He doesn't need anybody in his life. He has his own place, makes his money, and lives on his own terms. They are chivalrous. He opens the door for her, pulls out her chair at dinner, and walks next to the curb when they are walking down the street.
Yeah, I bet you didn't see those last two coming. Straight off of an Ask Reddit thread, basically. Oh, they're self-sufficient and can make their own money. And they're chivalrous. Who could have guessed? How odd is that? I don't really understand who the audience is for these videos. I'm guessing it's already people that identify themselves as a Sigma male, and they just want to, like, confirm that they check all of the boxes on these 10 lists, like these top 10 lists. Because I can't imagine anything else. Like, even just scrolling into the comments or reading the discussions on Twitter, it's always people like, yeah, I am a Sigma male and all of this is accurate, but unfortunately women in today's society just don't appreciate a 6-digit IQ like mine. So unfortunately Sigmas like me aren't getting as much pussy as Alphas, though we should be, and we have every right to because we're significantly better than them. Like, just look at these lists. A Sigma male is just the clear winner when it comes to males, and it's just a little upsetting that women haven't quite caught up to us yet to appreciate it. It just makes no sense to me, because all of these lists and all of these things from these Sigma male YouTubers and shit are just platitudes, meaningless cliches. Like, none of it has any substance or weight to it or anything unique about it. It is literally astrology, looking at a horoscope, but for lonely guys. Like, it's just a bit silly. And I do feel bad for them because there's so many videos like this and so many, like, YouTubers that talk about Sigma versus Alpha and all of that. And it just really muddies the waters and makes people that are really, like, struggling with self-esteem or their self-image get confused and get a bit lost in it. So yeah, it's just I wanted to check in on the community over here and see what's going on. And it's still the same stuff, just boring top 10 things Sigmas do when they're single or whatever and all of that. And some really bad advice from other channels that isn't like entertainingly bad advice, it's just sad advice, and they're selling courses to people that are already desperate enough to buy them, just exploiting it. So basically it's in the exact same spot that it was 2 years ago when I was actively watching this shit for entertainment. It's just now getting a bit stale and a bit sad. It's just, today just felt like a day I needed to at least check in with it. So yeah, that's about it. See ya.